All right, let's hope this mic is working. Hello, 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 hello. Good, it's working. Sometimes I have to remake because it doesn't work the first time. It's finished. All right, so we're going to go where we left off. I got my glasses. Where did I put them? Probably, no, right here. Okay, so we just got talking about the sun and the moon and the rain and the thunders and the wind all come from a porthole. In, right here, when the sun rises in the heaven, he comes forth the porthole 30 mornings in succession. So the sun goes through a porthole, whereas the windows of heaven are opened up. See, God uses the windows of heaven to look, send angels, and water, wind, rain, snow, dew all come from portholes. So does the sun. So last week they were speaking on Paul Begley, the lies of how the world's spinning around the sun. It is not. Okay, the Bible and Enoch and many other books talk about that. I don't know why it's not coming out, as because that's the truth, and they're hiding it. Anyone hiding that is hiding the truth from people. Now it doesn't matter, but it is the truth. So we're searching for the full truth. How do you find it? Not through someone like Paul Begley and Mike from around the world. I'm just saying. You get some of the truths from them. They're not they're not evil people. I just believe their teachings are wrong because they don't do enough of teaching from the books directly. They talk about things and they put things in their place. But I don't. I teach from the books, the Bibles, Enoch, and the rest of the books when they come. So here's where we ended up. And the sun mounts up to make the day shorter and the night longer. And the sun returned to the east and enters into the sixth porthole and rises and sets on the third on 30 mornings. So, that's kind of like the calendar 30, 31, 21, 29, 28 days, right? So you notice it's supposed to be 30 mornings for a month. So they take some out and they add some. That's wrong too. The calendar is the Gregorian calendar, not God's calendar. So they're way behind in the years, 500 years behind. Okay. So what time we're in, that people wouldn't know that this time that we're in. And they keep saying, well, tomorrow's going to be tomorrow and it's going to be better next year, better next year. Pray for a better next year. I'm not praying for a better next year. I'm praying to go home and this to get done. Why should I pray for a better next year, right? And when the 30 mornings are accomplished, the day decreases by exactly one part and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7. And the sun goes forth from the sixth porthole in the west and goes to the east and rises in the fifth porthole. We're not spinning around something that's going through portholes. It works to us. The world is stable, established. This book speaks it. The Bible speaks it many times. Why don't people go there? I don't understand that. They're withholding truth from us, right? And the 30 mornings and sets in the west again, and the fifth western portal. And on the day that the day decreases by 2 parts, and amounts to 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts, and the sun goes forth from its fifth porthole. Not spinning around. That's gibberish baloney talk. I'm not talking that anymore. This book is the first book written. God's not going to let it be a lie, just like the KJV Bible. So it goes through portholes, windows of heaven. And it sets in the fifth porthole of the west and rises in the fourth porthole, 1 and 30 mornings on an account of its sign. And it's setting in the west on the day that on that day, the day is equalized with the night and becomes an equal length, and the night amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. And the sun rises from the porthole and sets in the west, and returns to the east and rises 30 mornings in the third porthole. Not spinning around. That's a lie. You know, it doesn't even make sense that it's flying around through space and hasn't been destroyed. If it was flying that fast through space, and we would be hitting many asteroids for our entire life, there'd be nothing left of the world. God keeps it stable so he can protect it. It's hard to protect something that's moving. It's not hard for God, though, right? It sets in the west. And in the third porthole, and that day the night becomes longer than the day, and the night becomes longer than night, and the day shorter than day till the 13th morning, and the nights amounts exactly to 10 parts, and the day to 8 parts, and the sun rises. I got to third porthole and sets in the third porthole, and the west returns to the east, and the 30th morning rises the second portal to the east, in like manner sets in the second portal in the west of the heaven. And on the day and night amounts to 11 parts, in the day to 7 parts, and the sun rises on that day from the second porthole and sets in the west in the second porthole, and returns to the east into the first porthole. Oh, I'm so tired of fake teachers. And one I listened to for 6 years, and God showed me he was dead in a dream. I know what that meant. His teaching's dead to me now. I have to move forward with only these books. So I have internet. I didn't think I'd have it for 5 days. I'm so thank you, God. Because I don't want to go without teaching. I go through wicked war. When I'm not teaching and reading and studying and doing all the things that God wants me to do, get ready. I'm in for a war. Okay? Evil starts coming at me. God's like, no, no. You're not resting day or night. You're doing this, right? So for one of the third mornings and sets in the first porthole of the west of heaven. And on that day, night becomes longer and the amounts to double of the day. And the night amounts exactly to 12 parts of the day to 6. And the sun has therewith traversed the division of the orbit and turns on those divisions of the orbit of his orbit, the sun's orbit. Says it right over and over and over. And same in the Bible. Oh, established means the world's stable. The people on the world are stable. Are the people on the world stable today? I don't think so. I don't know about that. I don't speak about being a prophet. Okay. I'm just a teacher. I have prophecy given by Jesus, but I don't boast that I'm a prophet. Okay. I don't do that. I have through not several, but I have a few prophecies come true. And people are saying, how come it's happening, Rod? How come this is happening? How come what you said happened? I don't go and brag about that. I don't go and say that or even suggest I'm a prophet. I'm just a teacher sitting here, one that gets ran over by people over and over and over and over and over again. Call me a liar. If you don't believe Jesus, you're calling me a liar. You're calling the oldest book, sorry, the first book ever wrote in Enoch. Did you know Enoch was here when the fallen angels fell? And they taught him how to use paper. So nobody even knew how to use paper first. Enoch knew how to use paper before anybody else at the beginning of time, before the beginning of time. So you could tell me that all these other books are before Enoch? You got the wrong answer. I've seen Jesus in six of my dreams. He's given me prophecy on the destroyer that's coming. He's given me prophecy on that I'll end up into the camps. He's given me prophecies on fireballs, and a lot about the camps. He's given me he's told me many things through the heart. Not the KJV, sorry. You're hearing from people. You need to quit hearing from people because they're all telling you the same lie. How does the Bible have thousands of prophecies come true 3,000 years ago? You ain't guessing from 3,000 years ago, brother. You can't guess that many prophecies that came true in one book. This has come true too. Many of the things in this book. You can't, this is older than the Bible. You can't tell me those are made up. You can't make up thousands of prophecies. The only book that has it is the KJV. Said the Hebrew does in the Old Testament, right? It's not compromised. It was spoke through the Spirit. It was actually the computers and people decoded the Old Testament was written by God. Yeah. Hold on, guys, a second. My wife always likes to come in when I'm doing show.
Oh, here. We need toothpaste. JJ's going to bed. Give Papa a good night. He's going to bed.
That's the way to got my grandchildren.
Toothpaste. Here's the toothpaste. Here, toothpaste. Okay.
Okay, so it's just like this book talks of the Son of Man. That's Jesus Christ. Before he was born, God said the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Jesus Christ is the Word. He's in this book over and over. Son of man, son of man, son of man. Jesus Christ, the Word of God, the Word of God, Jesus Christ. In the Bible, before even Jesus Christ was born, Jesus Christ will die on a tree. This book even says it. How is that possible to guess 3,000 years ahead? Nah, not unless you have God. It's the only way. And there's hundreds and hundreds of prophecies in this KJV Bible that came true from thousands of years ago. That is impossible unless given by God. Nothing comes, but it comes through God, the Creator. You Google it. I don't Google nothing. These books go way back before Google was even suggested. That's garbage. Google's going to tell you lies too. You believe in that? You believe in a computer? You're a liar believer. That's all I have to say. I don't know what else to say about that. I'm not going on about that. So the division of the orbits enters the portals. The sun goes through portal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We don't spin around the sun. Doesn't even make sense because if the Bible said it was stable and cannot be moved, that's what it is. Quit changing the words. That's a simple teaching. How you doing, Junior? So the sun enters through portal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, ends back at 1. These are called the windows of heaven. They're in the Bible. Everything that's in this has been corrected, has been in check by the Bible, telling you that nobody wrote it. It was wrote through the spirits. Just like me teaching. He'd be saying you're teaching just from your own mouth. No, I'm not. And I'm not here to defend everything, right? So on that night, the night decreased, and the length in the ninth part, and the night had become 11 parts, and the day seven parts, and the sun has returned and entered into the second porthole on the east, and returned of those divisions from his orbit, from the sun's orbit. which tells you anybody teaching that we're orbiting around the sun is an absolute liar. So why did Mike show me the death of Mike from around the world? Because he doesn't show his face. He hides himself, and I can tell you right now, and I'm not going to attack him. He has many. You got to shut that, buddy. You got to shut that. So let me read it again. And it returns on those, his division, his orbit for the 30 mornings rising and setting. And on the day of the night decreases in the length, and the night amounts to 10 parts of the day, to 8. And on that day, sun rises from the porthole and sets in the west and returns to the east. So it didn't even make sense we're flying around the sun at 50,000 miles an hour. How can you be kicked out of your spot if you're not in one spot? You're calling God a liar if you're saying that that the sun, that we orbit around the sun. That's a lie. So these teachers teach that. They teach in fables and false teaching. You would never think my favorite teacher would do that. But I've caught him in many things. I've been listening to 6 years, okay? So as I'm reading the Bible, I'm discerning wrong teachings left, right, and center from my favorite teacher. And why do you think God showed me he died? He said, his teachings died to you. You are now, and I don't say that. I don't like to say that. But why does Jesus say to us, you'll be better than me? I am his, and I am to carry the baton from him. And I'm tearing it out of his hands right now, telling you false prophecies. Okay, he may not be. He has a lot of true prophecies. Yeah, and Enoch explains that that we're not orbiting around the sun. That is a wrong teaching. That's why I quit listening to my favorite teacher. You know who I'm talking about. He's got great teachings and he sounds very good, but I can tell you right now, God showed me his teaching died because he teaches that these fake beliefs. He knows, he goes, I believe in Enoch. Then why do you only teach a little bit when it gets to the sun? The sun has its orbit right here. So I got to keep my body small. Divisions of the orbit enters into a porthole 30 mornings and sets also on the west opposite to it. And in the night, as the night decreases, the ninth part and becomes the 11th part and whatever. And listen to this. And the sun has returned and entered into the second porthole on the east, and it returns in his orbit. Okay, so Enoch explains many times, and so does the Bible. Google it for yourself. Established, stable, and cannot be moved. How can you replace those words? The earth is stable and cannot be removed. And they go, whoa, it's the people on the earth. You tell me, are the people on the earth stable right now? Huh, they can be moved left, right, center. You got your replacement theory on that. So this is why I quit listening. I got all the books. I got the book of Maccabees, the book of Adam and Eve, which was mind-blowing. So is Maccabees. Jasher, sorry. I'm going to start going from only the books now. It's time that we get listening from these mans talking about science and NASA. That is vain babbling. I heard it on Pastor Paul Begley. My favorite teacher was telling people are growing on the moon. People are living on Mars. No, they're not. Yes. Why do people teach lies and say they're of God? Why do you hide your face there? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put the guy down. Why do you hide your face? We're supposed to be shouting it from the rooftop. There's something that is behind him. My wife said this a long time ago. There's just something about that. Man, he can speak righteous, he can sound righteous, but I can tell you right now, I know many teachings that are wrong, and the Bible proves it so. And God showed me him dying. That's what God meant. It took me about a week or two to figure out what that was. It took a week or two for God to fully answer that to me. He's dead. He's dead because he has false teachings and false babblings. Science is garbage. You believe in what NASA does? So how is the Earth kicked out of its spot if it's moving around the sun? It's not in one spot. So you wouldn't even be able to say the Earth was kicked out of a spot and wobbling to and fro. No, because it's supposedly spinning thousands of miles an hour. That doesn't even make sense, man. So, and I'm glad to have you here, Dixie. It's very nice to hear. Yes, the four corners, man. And what is the four pillars holding the earth up? Come on, man. It's simple. You got these teachers. I'm done with them. Steve Quayle, I'm done with Mike. And I've been done with Paul Begley from 100 years ago. First of all, you're selling molten images. And you know what? Mike told me not to be saying about reapproaching people. But I'm not doing it to hurt them. They're false prophets. You were supposed to tell it out. It talks about the Bible. Jeremiah did that. So, yeah, I know, understand. Mike used to teach, don't do that, that's bad. You know why? Because he's one of them. You're supposed to be a reproach. You're supposed to help people from learning false prophets. You're supposed to go, that man, don't follow that guy, dude. I had nothing against him. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. Some of his teaching is very good, but he's a false teacher. Many of them. And man, he's got wisdom. You know what I heard him say? I got Illuminati in my family. No wonder what you are. I got Illuminati in my bones. Satan knows the Bible too, right? Yeah. The thing that really made me upset on there is, Dixie, you guys all know on my channel, if you're talking, I involve you. I call you by your name. He calls people by his name, but because I've called Mike out many times saying, why are you teaching Enoch, but you're only teaching a little bit? That's like saying Satan told the full truth. He tells a little bit, but when it talks about the earth being stable on that, oh, he believes that we're flying around the sun like these bobblehead freaking dudes, bobbleheading with the wrong teaching. That's why God said, teach out of my books, not from yourself. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of his teachings are insightful, but what happens when you put a little leaven in the bread? Huh. Man, kept me silent, and I kept thinking I was doing something wrong, and God said, no, you're not. You're supposed to speak these people out and try to help them come out of these false teachings and these false learnings. Yes, it leavens the whole bunch. The earth is stable and cannot be moved. Everything else moves through portholes, and they have an ordinance to move, not us. We are stable on four pillars of the earth. Bible says that Enoch, the first book ever written in period of time, written before any other book. Listen, it says in the beginning, the fallen angels the watchers taught them how to write with pen and anybody else did. This is the first God ever wrote, and eat it, read it, and listen to it. And don't try to go against it because you can't. Enoch walked with God and God took him. He was a child of light. When the children of light lived here and the darkness on the face of the deep was here, this is when this book was written, whatever you want to say. There's no book ahead of this one. That's it. End of discussion. You will not find an older book than Enoch. It is 9,000 years old, brother. And it speaks of things that's happening to you right now that is physically impossible, spiritually only by God. So get that right. Sorry, and I'm not mad. I'm just teaching. I'm a fire and brimstone teacher sometimes, okay? I don't sit back here and go, oh, and this is that, and oh, have this voice that attracts women. I don't want to attract nobody but God's people. I'm not here for myself. Oh, I'm a prophet over here. I have some, but I don't say much of it, okay? And some of them are going to come true, by the way. Most of my prophecy hasn't happened yet. I've been given the stuff of Enoch, like Enoch was, and visions, and left my body wide awake, bro. So, I ain't making this stuff up. I seen Jesus 6 times, man. Why would I make something like that up? I might as well hang a noose around my neck if I'm doing that. And it's not bragging. I give all the glory to my Father and Jesus Christ. Not me. Without him, I'm zero. It's same with you. Without Jesus Christ, you're going to go to hell. And that's it. If you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you're going to hell. And you're going to burn. And there's nothing you can do about it. Keep fighting against it. But this 9,000-year-old book talks about Jesus Christ, the Son of the Word of God, the Lord of spirits, Jesus Christ was here at the beginning before the earth was made. Was the Word was with God. The Word was God. Jesus Christ. If you don't believe in him, I'm sorry. You're going to go to death. And you're going to be eaten by demons all over your body. You're going to be ripped and shredded apart day after day after day. And it's going to feel 100 times worse than it does in this flesh. So if that's where you want to go, keep on arguing against me because that's where you're going to go. I'm not saying you're going there. Okay? I'm trying to help you, rabbit. Trying to make you open your flipping eyes. I'm not here to please myself. I'm here to please God. I am a servant. I am your servant. Don't kill the messenger. Do your studies. Buy the book of Enoch. It's $13, by the way. And there's other books, and they all speak the same as the Bible, proving the Bible is not a lie. This is the Bible 9,000 years ago, telling the same thing as the Bible today. Impossible, but there is a God. So if you want to fight against it, go ahead, because the evil will come for you. And you will not defeat it if you don't believe in Jesus Christ. So anyways, I have to block this door because I'm loud. We're not here to fight, bro. Okay, we're not here to argue. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm about. And anybody that comes here to do that, I'm going to shut you down. And I'm not going to shut you down here. I'm going to keep teaching. Okay, so exactly 364. Okay, and the length of the day and the night, and that shortens the day of the night, arise through the course of the sun. Distinctions are made through the course of the sun, not the earth. They are they are separated. 34. So it comes that the course becomes daily longer and the course nightly shorter. And this is the law of the course of the sun. Of the course of the sun going through portholes, coming back and starting over. Talks about the windows in the Bible all over the place. Have you ever seen where it says windows in the Bible? He's saying the same thing as Enoch. This book is dead on. You can't even argue. The cover of Rolling Stones doesn't even come close to how old this book is. They got one 9,000 feet in the ground. They can't get it out. 9,000 years old, and it's 9,000 feet in a hole, and they can see it and they can't get it out. The book of Enoch was written all over the world, the first book ever written. There wasn't even paper. Paper was just learned how to be written on when Enoch was here. So there's no other book in front of it. Don't try to even do that because it's not true. You believe in Google? This is older than Google. This makes Google look shameful. I'm not here to argue. The book says it all. And his return is often as a return 60 times and rises. It returns. The sun does, not the earth. The great luminaries, which is named the sun. It's an illuminary. You can't live on them. You can't fly a spaceship to the sun. God's not going to let it. It talks about it in the Bible too. Anything that tries to make its way back into heaven and steal its estate back, God tosses it down. You can't live there. Not in this flesh. Oh, we're flying these pop cans there. It would crush. God would crush them like a peanut. It's in his space and it's got evil on it. The brightness of his coming would kill anything that tries to go there, especially the third heaven where God is. If something even tries to enter its little snipply nose in there, it's going to get cut off. He's going to pop it like a bug. Boink! Gone. Get out of here, you little bug. Doink! And you cast it right back down to the earth. So, which is named the sun forever and ever. And that which rises is the great luminary. That's what I believe. What is the sun? It's not what anybody says. It's called an illuminary. Is that God? Is that? I don't know. I can't answer that, okay? But it's an illuminary. So all the stars are too. Well, this is the most greatest illuminary in the heavens, is it not? Anybody talking about something coming from out, there's only one space, one universe, and we're in the center of it. Coming from another galaxy. Ah, shut it down, buddy. How do you know? Are you in that galaxy? Stupid people. Not you guys. Okay, none of you guys, all right? I'm not going against you guys. I'm going against the stiff-necked people with the fake teaching and the ones that don't even know nothing about God and claim to. The illuminary, which is named the sun forever and ever, and that which thus rises is a great luminary, and it is so named according to its appearance and according as the Lord commanded. As he rises, so sets and decrease not, and the rest not, but runs day and night, and his light is sevenfold brighter than that of the moon. What's that telling you the sun is, by the way? Not a burning fireball. You know, I always wonder what God said when I consume them with the brightness of my coming. Is that God? It's name and it calls it his, and it's an illuminary, and it's sevenfold brighter than the moon. I'm just saying, I don't know that one for sure. Oh, thanks, man. I just try to do the best I can. But what is the sun? What this tells it is nothing what they tell you it is on this earth. Foolishness. So in the sun is sevenfold brighter than the moon. But as regards size, they are both equal. The sun and the moon are the same size. That's what this says. The light is sevenfold brighter than that of the moon, but as regards size, they are equal. So that kind of makes sense because when the sun gets blocked here, what is it called? An eclipse. How does the moon totally eclipse the sun? Huh. But the sun has a brightness. And the sun is for day, which is good, and the moon is for night, which is evil. Well, I know it does, but the sun has an illuminating too. You got to remember it illuminates, right? So it looks bigger than it actually is because of the light that comes from it. God always says, I could consume them with the brightness of my coming. And the sun's coming in closer. Huh. It's radiation. There's not these dual binary twin system junk, garbage, baloney. That's a false teaching. Yes, the brightness, because it goes, it illuminates. It's an illuminary, and it's the biggest illuminary, and it moves through these portholes. What is it? I consume them with the brightness of my coming. I can only say that's where God's third heaven is lighting up the earth. I have no idea. It must be because it has a name. He names it and it moves in the direction that he wants it to move. There ain't no binary twin system. That's garbage. These false teachers. Man, oh man. Okay, let's keep going forward. So after this law, I saw another law dealing with the smaller luminaries, the stars, and Saturn, Mars, Venus. Remember, Peter said, I am Venus. The illuminaries, angels. God names them all. He says it in the Bible. I name the stars. Why would he name a floating piece of junk in space? Does nothing in vain. So his name, okay, so a luminary, which is named the moon, and her circumference is like the circumference of heaven. And her, why is it calling it her? Why is it calling the moon her? May want to think about that. Oh, and her chariot is which she rides and driven by the wind, and the light is given to her definite measure. Holy smokes. So is the moon what you're saying it is there, Mr. Fall Begley? Yeah, teach something else besides destruction. Teach the truth. I'm sick of it. God is mad at that. Okay? I can go on there and listen for 1 second and I'm going, whoa, why do you cover your eyes, buckwheat? Why hide yourself? There's something not right when you're selling molten images and every 5 minutes. Go buy my this, go buy my that. Hit the road, Jack. Ain't that right, Jack? That ain't right, Jack. Okay, let's keep going. So, and her rising and setting change every month. And her days are like the days of the sun. And when her light is uniform, full, that's when it's a full moon, it amounts to the seventh part of the light of the sun. And thus she rises, not the moon. The moon is she. What is it? It sure ain't a piece of cheese. And her first phase in the east comes forth from the 13th morning, and on the day she becomes visible. See? That's the moon. No, it's not. It's not a piece of cheese. And constitutes for the first moon phase of the moon, and on the 13th day together with the sun in the porthole. where the sun rises, and one half of her goes forth by 7 parts. One half of her goes forth. It's not saying it not once says the earth is swinging around. There's no way. That's It's just even funny. Together with the sun in the porthole where the sun rises, and the one half of her goes forth by 7 part, and her whole circumference is empty inside. There's something inside the moon. I took a picture at one night, it was cracking in half, and I seen a luminary come out of it without light. An expectation of 7th part of it, and the 14th part of her light. And when she receives 1/7 part of the half of her light amounts to the 7 parts, part of the half thereof, and she sets with the sun, and when the sun rises, the moon rises. I've seen it many times with him. The sun now is him. Who is him? I would say that is God. Okay. Am I for sure? I don't know. But kind of sounds like it is. If I don't know it isn't, I fully don't know it is. So, but why is it the son of him and the moon is she? And the moon rises with him and receives the half part of light, and in that night it becomes of her morning in the commencement of a lunar day. The moon sets with the sun, and it is visible that night with the 14th part of the half of one of them. And she rises on the day with exactly a 7th part and comes forth and recedes from the rising of the sun. And in her, what's in her? Remaining of days, she becomes bright in the remaining 13 parts. So when I saw another course, a law for her, and how according to the law she performs her monthly revolution. He keeps calling the moon her. Is that a comforter? Because the comforter is a nurturer, is a loving, it's like a mother. A loving mother is what the comforter is, right? And it also calls the comforter in the Bible a she. Hmm. I don't know. Okay. I don't know all the answers, okay? You put it together. So, according to the law, performs her monthly revolution, and this Uriel, the holy angel who is the leader of them all, showed to me in their positions, and I wrote down their positions and showed them to me. And I wrote down their months, and they were, and the appearance of their light, till 15 days were accomplished. In the single 7 part of the accomplished, all her light in the east, and in the single 7 parts accomplish all her darkness in the west. See, she gives light and darkness. Still, I don't really know what it is, right? She pursues her own particular course. The moon pursues her own particular course. Come on, man. The earth's not flying around nothing, dude. Nothing. Hear someone teaching that? I would leave the room because that guy's misleading you. It took me 6 years to see the mistakes in my favorite teacher, and I see many. First of all, God's children are attacked by the beast constantly because the beast We are the whore riding it because the beast hates her and wants to kill her, and we fornicated with the wine of the fornications of everything, right from the starting of time. The beast that rides the whore that rides the beast has never been taught right. Okay, never. It wasn't meant to teach until these times of tribulation. This is a book of this thing now and explaining everything else that goes along with it. This is the Bible in short version. Setting her own particular course. You're telling me that the moon's stuck to the earth, it doesn't move around. When I see it over here one week and over there one week, white as bright as snow, and then one week has a little sliver. Come on. You guys are liars. You know, God's going to do a major correction, and it's going to be almost every single person I've ever listened to. How funny is that? You never think that a guy that's been rolled over by the bus 50 million times, literally, and fighting and everything, been hated from the time I was born, would even be able to teach this stuff. But that's what the Bible tells us. Babes and the weak and the foolish. And the donkey that Jesus rode in on, he's riding in the donkeys, not these people that think they know every answer. You know, I heard my ex-favorite teacher say, I don't know all the answers, but yet I've never heard him say no to a question. He's answered every single question. Hypocritical. Why do you think he's not on my mixer anymore? Everybody's like joining my channel. Mike, he's great. He's great. Okay. Whatever. I'm not against it, right? Yes, the least becomes the man. I am the least. All these churches, even the ones on YouTube, throw me out. I tell them no rapture. The preacher says you need to repent. Enoch has it over 30 times. Transfiguration, same as the Bible calls it. Transforming, transfiguration, not rapture. Shove that rapture right up your pahooster because it's totally fake. Can't tell me any different. 60 scriptures in the Bible I found, and 30 in here. That's 90 to what, your 3 that you use? Quit replacement theory on me because it doesn't work. I see replacement theory words like you wouldn't believe. The catching away. Are you catching yourself away, bing bong? No, you're not. You don't catch yourself away. I see a band of angels coming after me. Man, come on, man. And yet he has someone singing that song on his own and he's all dancing. But he goes, when he hears that part, that's what he does. When he's corrected, oh, you're going to have to go through tribulation. He hasn't gone through tribulation. When I heard someone telling him you have to go through tribulation, I could see right through him. Like my dart was going through that guy many times. Doesn't mean he's of Satan. I can't tell you that, right? I'm not the judge. He could be corrected, but I think he's gone past the point. I don't know. Inner darkness in the west. In a certain month, she alters her settings. She, not the moon. In a certain month, she pursues her own peculiar course. Come on. Haven't you seen the moon do that? One week it's right in front of you, the next day you can't even see the darn thing. You don't even know where it is. Oh, the moon is used to bring high tides. No, God brings the high tides. Nothing comes, but it comes through heaven. The moon does that. Without the moon, we'd be destroyed. No, you wouldn't. God wouldn't allow it. In certain months, she pursues one peculiar course. In the second month, the moon sets with the sun, and in those two middle portholes, the third and the fourth, she goes forth 7 days and turns about and returns again through the porthole, not flying around in space bajillion miles an hour. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe it at all. And anybody teaching it, buddy, you got to close the door. And anybody teaching it is telling you and misguiding you in some way or another. And you, when you read the Bible enough, like, and listen to it and listen to you, they start to put their own foot in their own butt. Then people go, "Oh, you said this and you said that." No, I didn't. Everything I say, it has to be marked through God before I can say it. Okay. I watched her crack in half and open up, and something came out of her too. So, guys, let me. I'm just gonna grab a drink. So, grab a drink. Praise God, guys. I didn't think I would have. I'm out in a cabin. Last year they didn't have internet. To the glory of God, I prayed. I said, God, I really need internet. If I don't teach, I get attacked because I'm not being obedient. That's what I'm supposed to do. I go a day without teaching, man, I'm going to fall. It is. It's going through one, and it calls it calls the Son a him. It's not talking the Son of Jesus. S-U-N is a him, not S-O-N. Well, that's talking about Jesus. No, it's not. It's spelled S-U-N, plain as day. I've had them say that to me, and I'm going, you call us needing a silver hat. You wait till the darkness falls. They're going to need it. Give me a second. I'm going to grab a drink. Yeah. Okay. So milk, that doesn't even quench my thirst, man. I got some milk back there, and I need some water. I like bubblies. You know, it's funny because I showed you guys that thing on the Antichrist. It's called the corporation. It's not called New World Order. That's a lie. They're tricking people again. Oh, I don't like the New World Order. In the Bible, it's called New World Religion, and it kills the two Bibles. That's why they're giving presents in the street. I don't believe that the two witnesses are what people say they are either. I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to that. Okay. You have now Enoch could be because Enoch was a witness, but to be a witness of it, you have to live in that time. So we're the witness of the time. We're the true fold coming in. We will judge the angels. So and I don't know the full thing on it. I pray to God and I ask Him to show me the full thing on it too. But I really believe it's the Old and the New Testament. But I digress again. People are waiting on these two witnesses coming back. It's not going to be like that. I don't think it is, right? Yes, madam. Thank you for coming. So we're going back. You might want to listen later to catch up because we're doing this book. It's a small book and we're more than half, I do believe, the way through it, right? So you must have listened to it before. It's such an interesting book, man. It's mind blowing. Okay, I'm popping back my glasses. Let's get back into Enoch, okay? So recedes from the sun, and its 8 days enters into the 6 portholes from which the sun goes forth. And when the sun goes forth from the fourth porthole, she goes forth for 7 days until she goes forth from the fifth and turns back. And again in the 7 days into the fourth porthole, into the accomplishes all her light. I thought the sun was him, and anyways, and she recedes and enters into the first portal on the 8th day. The sun goes forth. Thus I saw their position, how the moon rose and the sun set in those days, and in the 5 years, and added together the sun has an overplus of 30 days, and all the days which are acquire to it for one of those 5 years. When they are full, amount to 364 days, that's a year, and the overplus of the sun and of the stars amounts to 6 days, 5 years, 6 days. Every year come to 30 days. And the moon, see, do you see crazy? And the behind the sun, and the stars to the number of the 30 days, and the sun and her stars, and the sun and her stars. Hmm. Stars, messengers, angels. Angels. Bringing the years exactly, so that if they do advance or daily perfect justice in 364 days, in 3 years there are 100 or 1092 days, and from years 1820 1820 days, so that the 8 years that are 2912 days for the moon alone in the day amounts in 3 years to 1062 days. In the 5 years she falls 50 days behind. To the sun of 1770 there is to be added 1062 days. So that stuff is, just the days, right? And the 5 years and the 1700 days for that, the moons, the days are 8 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna keep going forward. For the 8 years, she falls behind in the days, and all the days falls behind 8 years and 80 days, and the year according to the comfort with her world stations, and with the stations of the sun, which rise from the portholes through which is the sun rises and sets 30 days. Okay, I need to get into other things now. We know enough about the sun and the moon. We don't know full about it. So the New World Order is called this. 33-degree Masons on the bottom. Core. 33, that's hard to see on this. And I don't know what the top one says. See the 33-degree Masons. Pepsi. It's part of the core. So hold on a sec. Grab my pen here. Okay, we'll start off another Man, this is perfect. I got a perfect little chair for here. So, and the leaders and the heads of the thousands who were placed over the whole creation, over the stars, have also to do according to the reckoning of the year. So, for signs and seasons, right? Just what the Bible says. Render service on 4 days, which are not reckoned in reckoning of the year, and owing to them men go wrong therein, for those luminaries truly render service on the world stations. What's that? Service on the world stations? In the first porthole, that's what I believe they are. One in the first porthole, and one in the third porthole of the heaven, and one in the fourth porthole, and one in the sixth porthole. And it exactness of the year is accomplished through its separate. I wonder why they're for seasons and times. With the Virgos standing with their foot over the moon and giving birth to the destroyer that comes up against the people of God, that already happened, and birth pains is long gone, and we're getting ready to close out seal 6 very, very closely. And seal, there's only 7 seals, guys. So, and there's woes, and woes are kind of like wrath, right? God says, whoa, and then he goes whack, whack, whack to the whole earth because nobody's listening. Bunch of stiff neckers, right? Exactly, you're accomplished to separate the 364 stations. For the sign, what I just said, and times, what I just said. I didn't know that was coming. That's out of the Bible that I got that. How come it says the exact same thing? Oh, Enoch wasn't written, was a lie. Oh, yeah, right. Only if you're stiff necked people. And in the years of the days, the angel Uriel showed to me whom the Lord of glory has set for every over all luminaries in heaven and in the heaven and in the world, that they should rule on the face of the heaven and be seen on earth. Go look on YouTube. Angels, you'll see what they look like. They come in in a twinkling of an eye. Oh, we're going to get raptured in a twinkling of an eye. That has nothing to do with that. Your angel's going to come and get you in a twinkle of an eye. But to you, because you're not in this flesh anymore, time is different. Time is no longer. He set time for people in the flesh. As soon as you leave, it's going to be like, woo, 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 and you're not even going to know it. Twinkling of an eye. And the earth's leader day and night, the sun and the moon and the stars and all the ministering creatures which make their revolution in the chariots of heaven. Swing low. Come on, man. Well, that's a UFO. No, it's not, dummy. Sorry, I'm just kidding, right? No, it's not, stiff necker. Better get your tinfoil hat off. That's a chariot. That's an angel. That's a demon. No such thing as a UFO to you if you listen to my station. There's not. Or you open up your Bible and go into Ezekiel, around Ezekiel 6, his wheel and everything. It explains the exact same thing this book is. First book ever written. So, People magazine has nothing on Enoch. So the chariots of heaven, in like manner, 12 doors, Uriel showed me open in the circumference of the sun. The sun's chariot in heaven. The sun's chariot. See, they're not in flesh. They can use it and go through it and go around it. Doesn't hurt them. Well, that's a planet in the back of the sun. If that was a real planet like Earth, it'd be burnt. Earth is in the only Goldilocks zone in the entire universe. Quit saying there's many other universes and many other worlds in Goldilocks zones. No, no, there's not. I'm not talking about you guys. These fake teachers, right? Man of the 12th door, you showed me to open the circumference of the sun, chariot in heaven, through which the rays of the sun break forth, and from them it warms diffused over the earth. It's made for the earth only, not to heat other planets, dummy. Sorry, I'm not saying that to you guys, right? It's just like there's too many people like, oh, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Keep following people that teach these wrong things. So the earth, when they are opened at their appointed season, and for the winds of the wind and the spirit of the dew, when they are opened, standing open in the heavens at the ends, as for the 12 portals in heaven at the ends of the earth, out of which go forth the sun and the moon and the stars, and all the works of heaven in the east and the west. They're moving, dummy. Sorry, I'm not saying that to you guys. It's unreal, man. Listen to these teachers that they're very good. But man, if you're a child of God, you'll see through. Dummy. I'm kidding, guys, okay? I just think it's funny. So to the left, to the right of them, one window is appointed season, produces warm, composing in the doors, which the stars come forth according to the commandments of them, wherein they are set corresponding to the number. And I saw the chariots in heaven running in the world above those portholes in which revolve the stars that never set. And on the larger than that rest. What is a meteorite? It's a chariot. Some of them just go through and they disperse what they have to on the people to give them that spirit. I pour out my spirit on all flesh all the time. And it makes a course through the entire world. They're always going through. Now they're really going through. I watched that comet on Christmas going like this, and I watch these things going all by it all the time. Dummy. I'm just kidding. To all the courtings of heaven from which the winds go forth and blow over the earth, there are three of them are open on the face, the east of the heavens, and they're in the west, and the three on the right, south of heaven, and the three on the left, and the first of those of the east, and there are of the north, and three after those on the left, and the south, and the three west, through four. I'm just kind of going until I find something, get into some more interesting, right? So we understand that now. They go through portholes, everything does. And they all happen through the heavens. There's an angel of dew, thunder, lightning, I believe hurricanes, and all that stuff. It was just a blessing of prosperity. From those eight come hurtful winds. I just said that. Tornadoes, hurtful winds, hurricanes. I just said that. It just answered me, just like the Bible does all the time when I'm reading the Bible as well. Okay. So, and that's just great. That's just God speaking through me. That's all that is. It's not me. When they are sent, they bring destruction on all the earth and the waters upon it. What's happening now? Dummies. Not you guys, right? Oh, that's HARP destroying it. No, it isn't, dummy. Read your Enoch book, dummy. And those who dwell therein, on everything which is in the water and on the land. And the first wind of those portals, the first winds. God. Nothing happens but through heaven. Well, President Trump, they stole it. No, they didn't, dummy. Read your Bible. God makes kings, dummy. Sorry, guys, I'll quit doing that. It's not even a joking matter, right? Every once in a while, I add a little bit of humor, but God tells me enough is enough, okay? With the dummy, right? Because we don't, I'm not specifically person dummy because there's so many people. Wow, you even tell the Christians about this book. They say that book is fake. Have you picked it up and read it? I want to say it, but I'm not because the Lord told me not to. Dummy. Sorry, God, forgive me. I had to leave one guy because he thinks he knows it all. And believe me, he is of God. But he thinks he knows it all. That book of Enoch was written by Satan. No, it wasn't. No banging. You have to get the R.H. Charles, okay? So in the east, climbing toward the south, and north, desolation, draw, heat, and destruction. And through the second porthole in the middle comes what is fitting from it there come rain and fruitfulness and prosperity and dew. And through the third portal, which lies towards the north, come cold and drought. So right now, Canada, where I live, is the coldest place on earth for a week solid, -40. That's not in Fahrenheit, by the way. That'd be like summer. It's in Celsius. That's like a -140. It's freezing cold here. So, and through the third portal, which is towards the north, come cold and drought, and after these come forth the south wind through their three portholes. Through the first porthole, and inclining into the east, comes forth a hot wind. And through the middle porthole next to there come forth fragments. Quit, JJ, go to bed. Little bugger. He's cute though. He's autism. He's God's child. He doesn't have anger. He doesn't have the issues that regular kids do. I seen him in a at school. They were watching TV and they were saying, uh, "Shine the light every day." I can't remember this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Every other kid was sitting there just watching it. JJ was in the back. I'm gonna let it shine every day, he said. And the kid is God's kid, man. Smells and dew and the rain and the prosperity. You notice how when you're gonna smell rain, before before you smell like like almost like a moldy mist, right? Smells a dew and rain, prosperity and health. And through the third portal, lying on the west fork, dew and rain, locusts and desolation. God has these things that He uses against us. So, because we're being dummies. Okay, I found it. After these north winds from the seventh porthole in the east come dew and rain, locusts and desolation, and from the middle porthole come in a direct direction health and rain and dew, prosperity, and through the third porthole in the west come cloud and frost and snow and rain and dew and locusts. And after these are the west winds through the first porthole adjoining to the north come from the dew, and the horsefly from the snow and the frost, and from the middle portal come dew, rain, prosperity, blessing. Through the porthole which adjoins to the south come drought and desolation, and burning and destruction, the destroyer. In the 12th portal, I don't know, I'm just saying, of the four quarters of heaven are therewith completed with all their laws, and in the plagues and all their benefactories have I shown to thee, my son Methuselah. So Methuselah was like a Jesus too, eh? Enoch's son. Because he come from the seed, right? And the first quarter is called the east because the first, and the second south because the Most High will descend there. Yea, there will be quite a special sense. Will he who is blessed forever descend? And that's talking about Jesus Christ. And when the west quarter is named, the diminished because there all the luminaries of heaven wane and go down. That's talking in this time when all the stars bow down. That's in the Bible. When they come down. God has a controversy, like I've been teaching, of this earth. He has a controversy on here. So everything's coming down to here. Evil, good, and all. And God's going to wipe away the good as He's wiping away the tears from your eyes and from your memory. And all the people you love that don't make it, you'll never remember them. So the heaven wane and go down. All the luminaries of the heavens wane and go down. All the stars. In the Bible explains all the stars bow down. Same thing. Okay? And on that day is terrible unless you are an illuminary. Unless you become an illuminary. Okay? Seas and water and the abysses and the forests and the rivers and the darkness and the clouds, and the third part contain the garden of righteousness, which is the garden of Eve, Adam and Eve, right? I saw 7 high mountains, higher than them all the mountains which are on the earth, and thence comes forth hoarfrost, and in the days, season, and the years pass away. I saw. Sorry, guys, I'm just lost. I should. And I saw the high mountains higher than the mount. Oh no! And I saw the rivers on the earth, large than all the rivers. One of them coming from the west pours its waters into the great sea. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to see what that means. Okay. And these two come forth from the north to the sea and pour their water into Ithrium sea in the east, and the remaining fourth the side of the north to their own sea. Two of them, oh yeah, there's also openings underneath to open fresh water at all times, to move the water through the dirt and everything else to freshen it. Okay, it's like a filter, keeps filtering our water, because if something didn't filter our water, and right now those aren't working, they're being shut down. That's why they're coming to water wars here soon. The sea and the two great seas charging themselves there. Some say in the desert, 7 great islands I saw in the sea, and in the mainland, 2 in the mainland, and 5 in the great sea. And then the names of the sun are following: the first or Jairus, and the second Thomas. And the moon has 4 names. The first name is Sanja, the second is Ebla, and the third is Penes, and the fourth airy. Wow. There are things that live on them, but they're not people, Mike, from around the world. Well, there's people living on there. Those aren't people. Says they're luminaries. These are the two great luminaries. I just said it. Quit fake teaching on your fake teaching channel. I don't care anymore. We're supposed to reproach these people. You can't tell me any different. No wonder why he says, "Well, we don't do that." You tell the once again, you're hypocritical because the Bible tells us that to do that. Don't do it out of your heart to hurt them, and I'm not. I'm not going on their channels and doing it. I already did. False prophet, fake teach it. That's all I say. False prophet. There is no there is no Nibiru. There is no Planet X, and Rapture's fake. That's all I say. And wow, I got people messaging, "You're this, you're that, you're this or that, you're this or that." Yeah, and you're of God? Take reproach, fool. Well, not fool. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, that is a bad one. Please forgive me for that. Please. Like, it's just, I don't have time for fakeness anymore. So there's circumferences like the circumference of heaven. My words are read, by the way, and that's Jesus and the Holy Spirit reading this book with me. So you cannot tell me this book is not of God because I'm just going to laugh you out of the building. Elvis has left the building. And the size of the circumferences of both is alike. In the circumference of the sun, there is 7 portions of light, which are added to it more than the moon. And in definite measures, it is as bird till the 7 portions of the sun is exhausted. And they set and enter the portholes of the west and make their revolution by the north, and they come forth through the eastern portholes of the face of heaven. And when the moon rises 1/14, this is just mind blowing. This is nothing what any of the Christians ever talk about, except for the ones reading Enoch. I believe those are God's children. I believe the ones reading a partial of it and not giving you the full, that we're not spinning. And these things are moving through portholes, and angels and God, and the sun moves through a porthole. All these things. We're not moving at all. Where does it say the earth's moving through a porthole? Fake. So, and in more than the moon, it definite measures. It is transferred till the 7 portions of the sun is exhausted. And then the set and the enter the portholes of the west to make their revolution by the north. And they come forth through the eastern portals on the face of the heaven. And when the moon rises 1/14, part appears in the heaven, and the light becomes full in her. So a part appears in heaven, the light becomes full in her. On the 14th day, she accomplishes her life. Why is it calling it her? I gotta go. Anybody else do? Go ahead. Wow, that's absolutely crazy. I love this, man. I got computer. Do. This is my funnest, man. Oh, I gotta take my headset off. This is my absolute life. Like, if I don't have internet, I'm being attacked. I absolutely need it. Hold on a second. People in the world having fun upstairs. Well, this to me blows that stuff away. Sorry, guys, I had to go, man. So, and the 15 parts of light are transferred to her till the 15th day, and her light is accomplished according to the sign and of the year. She becomes 15 parts, and the moon grows by the addition of the 14th part. Did you notice the moon goes like sometimes it's like it's really close? That's where you can tell kind of that the sun and the moon to where they're moving and what portholes they're moving through, they look bigger and smaller. Both of them do, except the luminaries of the sun, her, whatever it is. In the 14 parts of light, it doesn't really tell you exactly what the sun and the moon is. It calls them hers. So, and on the second and the 13 parts of light, and 1/3, 12, and the fourth, 11, and the fifth to 10, and the sixth to 9, and the 7 to 8, and the 8 to 7, and the 9 to 6, on the 10th to 5, on the 11th to 4, 12 there, boom, boom. I'm just going to move on until I get to some more interesting stuff. And Uriel showed me another law when the light is transferred to the moon. I already knew that. The light gives its light to the moon. Transferred it. And on which side it's transferred to her by the sun. During all the period during which the moon is growing in her light, she is transferring it to herself. When it opposite the sun during the 14th day, her light is accomplished in the heaven, and when she is illuminated throughout, her light is accomplished full in the heaven. And on this day, she is called the new moon. She is called the new moon. Doesn't say. Wow, it says it's she of some sort. For on that day of the light rises upon her, she becomes full exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west, and from the east she rises at night, and the moon shines her whole light through until the sun rises over against her, and the moon seen over against the sun. Yeah, and sometimes they cross, and there comes. On the side whence the light and the moon comes forth, there is again she wanes to the light and vanishes, and all the days of the month are at an end. See the signs and seasons and the months and times, right? And her circumference is empty of light. In the third month she makes 30 days, and at the time she makes 3 months and 29 days, and each what she is accomplishes her waning. And in the first period of time, in the first, I have never heard once that the moon is, or that the earth is moving around. These books explain it. Why don't people teach it? Maybe they're not of God. Don't know that. Okay, so I'm going to get over those. Uh, And now, my son, I have shown thee everything, and the law of the stars of heaven is completed. And show me all the laws of these every day, for every season, and bearing rule, and for her every year, and for his going forth, and for the order prescribed to it every month and every week, and the waning of the moon, which takes place in the 16th porthole. Let's get over this waning. I'm just looking for, we know enough about that. So tomorrow I'm going to do an Enoch teaching and a Bible teaching. I have to catch up on some of my reading in the Bible too, right? Such a picture sketch of every luminary which Uriel the archangel, who is their leader, showed unto me. So he leads all the luminaries, the stars. They're not stars, well, they are, but not what the people think. Okay, guys, I have to spend some time with these guys upstairs too. I'm just lucky. This is where I'm at. I gotta find a shot glass for grape juice tomorrow. For church tomorrow. It's church every day for me, okay? Church never ceases. God bless you guys all. Thank you for coming. We'll see you tomorrow twice for 2 1.5 hour teachings or whatever God tells me. God bless. Thank you for coming.